Hello and welcome to the Caffeinated Theology Pastor Talks video blog. Today we are on site at the Southern Baptist Convention annual meeting, and we have a very special interview today. And so I'm very excited about this and to bring this with you. As normal, my name is Pastor Anthony Swata. I am your host, and I pastor Harvey Baptist Church in Stephenville, Texas. I'm joined by my regular co-host, Brother Sean Wagner, pastor at First Baptist Church in Summerville, Georgia. And then we also have a very special guest, Dr. Carl Bradford. Now, Dr. Carl Bradford is an evangelist, a man of God. He currently serves as the Assistant Professor of Evangelism and teaches evangelism at Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. And today we are actually at the Southwestern booth at campus. So pretty cool. So not only does Carl do all that, but let me tell you the more important things about Carl's life. Carl is married to Andrea Bradford. They have 2 children, Carl Jr. and Abigail. And so he is a good father, man of God, an evangelist, and a professor. And so we are very blessed to have him with us today. Now, as we kind of get started, Carl, we're going to ask you a few questions.
All right.
So here we go. Tell us what your favorite food is and what you like to do as a hobby.
My favorite food is shrimp po' boy. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm a native of New Orleans, Louisiana. I love seafood, so shrimp po' boy. As a hobby, I love spending time with my family. Going to Legoland, everything is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Going to Disney World and Six Flags and all those type of things.
All right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do you get the best shrimp po' boy?
My house. My wife makes the best shrimp po' boy by none.
Andrea here, some brownie points on that one.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I'm hoping she's watching this now. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Oh man, my son just had his first shrimp po' boy. He's super excited.
He'll never be the same.
Oh man, that's all he wants to order.
Right.
It's kind of like Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus and shrimp po' boy right after.
Put me on an island with one person who's not saved, so I can witness the rest of my life. A Pepsi and a shrimp po' boy, and we're good to go.
We're good.
Yeah.
Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Man,
Georgia.
You had good points.
Yeah, good
points.
points.
And Pepsi.
Right.
Sorry, that's awesome, man.
Maybe a Coke.
So, Carl, this last week, man, you were super busy. You coordinated and worked with Crossover Initiative at the Southern Baptist Convention. And this is a huge evangelistic initiative. Carl, tell us about like your role in that. And all that. Give us what that is. Tell us about Crossover.
Well, first off, Crossover has been around since 1989. It was first done in Las Vegas. So we're going on right at 30 years. And Crossover is an initiative that every year before the annual meeting, Southern Baptist Convention meeting, we, for a whole week, we knock on doors in that particular city and we share the gospel of Jesus Christ. This year, I had the privilege of leading out Southwestern Seminary, about 28 students. And our numbers for the particular seminary was 565 doors knocked on, 115 gospel conversations, and 14 salvations.
That's awesome, man. So, praise God.
Some people would say, door to door is not effective.
Right.
What you're seeing from Crossover is that is still an effective method of doing evangelism.
Yes, it's very effective. There's probably no other method that intentionally that we could lead people out and demonstrate on how to do it, right? So if we think about it, if we say witness to people, evangelize people on your jobs, well, that pastor or myself or no other leader can go on the job and show you how to do that. But door to door at malls and those type of things, we're able to help and assist that person.
Okay. Meet a person that's not necessarily going to come into the walls of the church.
Exactly.
And meet them where they're at.
Yes, sir.
Man, that's awesome. So how long have you been participating with Crossover? Is this your first year?
Yeah.
Or have you gone back before that?
This is my first year as a leader.
Okay.
As the professor of record, but I have done Crossover about 4 or 5 times as a student and loved it every time.
That's awesome. Yeah. So if, let's say I'm new to Crossover, never done it before, walk me through what that looks like for a person who's going to get involved with that.
Right. So number one, every morning we're going to wake up. You're going to get training from a professor of one of the 6 seminaries that we have present there. And then afterwards, we're going to hit the streets. We're going to be on the streets for about 6 or 7 hours a day. We're going to do about 3 hours. We're going to come back and we're going to get something to eat, debrief on what happened. Then we're going to go back out for another 3 or 4 hours and then come back and debrief, have a time of fellowship and worship to God for the results that he's done. And then we're going to start that day all over again. So at the end of the week, you're tired, but you're able to rejoice and sit in and look at the results and glorify God for what he's done.
That's awesome, man. Did you have any cool stories of this year? Like some awesome things that God like really showed up? Or
Yeah. Here's a very cool story. I had a student who was shadowing myself and someone else. And I was with that student that particular day, and I noticed one guy kept evangelizing and she kept walking behind. She didn't say anything. And so I called her out and I said, hey, listen, I called her by name. And I said, her name is Rebecca. She's okay with me sharing. And I said, Rebecca, did you share the gospel today? And she says, no, not yet. I said, okay. I said, well, have you shared the gospel any of this week? She said, no, I haven't. And so I said, well, the next door, we need to see if you're willing to share the gospel.
Okay.
And she said, okay. She says, but I'm just kind of scared. And I said, well, can you at least ask those first questions? We're with X Church. We're here being a people of prayer. We want to know how we can pray for you and go on from there. She says, I'm okay with that, but when I get to the gospel part, I freeze up. I said, well, would you trust God and trust myself to help you if you freeze up? Just look back and we'll help you.
Yeah.
And so time got short. We wasn't able to get to another door. No one answered the door.
Okay.
The following day, I wasn't able to go with her and the gentleman. And so I said to myself, I said, she's not going to share. I'm not there pushing her. She's not going to share. Well, God showed me different, right?
Yeah.
She came back. I said, Rebecca, did you have a chance to share the gospel today? Looking for her to say no. She says, Dr. Bradford, I did. And I shared the gospel and someone accepted Jesus Christ.
Oh, wonderful.
So you have a
Praise
person
God.
here that's never shared the
Wonderful.
gospel before, their first time, and someone accepted Jesus Christ.
So she had never shared the gospel before.
I hear
and
that
she went to crossover.
Yes. And accepted, and then shared the gospel and accepted Jesus Christ.
Man,
yeah.
what a testimony. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Right,
God
right.
is good,
So God
man.
is moving. Yeah.
Amen to that.
Yes,
Amen
sir.
to that. So, okay, so this is a major evangelistic
Okay.
initiative of our convention, right? We do this
Yeah.
every year. We've done it for a while now, as you said earlier.
Exactly.
So as an evangelism professor, Carl, what other things excite you about evangelism going on within the Southern Baptist Convention right now?
Well, I'm excited that as the Southern Baptist Convention, us being a people of evangelism, committed to evangelism, that we're always looking for initiatives to get the word out. The convention actually, encourages us and motivates the local church. And so obviously we have now, as the new program that's being launched is Hoosier One. So
Yeah.
I'm looking for great things to come out of that, exciting times in the Southern Baptist Convention, getting us to look at who are those people that we're praying for, who are those people that we realize that are not in the kingdom of God, and we want to allow God to work through us and help bring that person to Jesus Christ.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
That's
that
awesome.
Hoosier One is such a great
Yeah.
initiative, and it helps the individual church member and the pastor to be able to even make a sermon application at the end.
Exactly.
Everyone has someone in mind.
Exactly.
Okay.
So would you encourage pastors of the convention to go ahead and get involved with that Hoosier One?
I definitely would encourage them to go ahead and get involved with Hoosier One. Get the kit, learn, be trained on it, train your people on it. I'm open myself. I know Dr. Queen from Southwestern Seminary, other professors. We're open to coming, training your congregation on Hoosier One. I have someone from the Southern Baptist Convention as well to come in. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Now, how would you recommend a pastor get involved with crossover at the Southern Baptist Convention? Is there a way from the individual churches to be involved and to volunteer to do that?
Yes, just get in touch with the convention, get in touch with NAM, and usually a part that the local church plays, they're going to map out all of the particular streets and things like that, the addresses that we're going to
Okay.
go to. So when we come down and touch down on the ground, we're bringing the manpower with the students, and we're looking for the members and the pastor of the church to accompany us, but we're going to show them how evangelism is done, encourage them to do it, but they're going to have all the logistics pretty much mapped out between
so
them and
them.
them.
Provide even training for
Yes.
church members and pastors to
Yes,
be able
we
to
do that
this
as well.
when you leave.
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful.
That's awesome. Way cool. Well,
Yeah.
Carl, it was great meeting you.
Yes, sir.
Although I've known you for a long time,
Right,
it was
right.
great having you on the show. And we just really appreciate what you're doing at seminary and what you're doing in your role at Crossover and in the convention and everything else, man. God has blessed you greatly with this, and we are pumped to see
right.
you working as a Southwesterner doing it. With that being said,
Yes, sir.
is there anything that you would tell our people that maybe we haven't asked you or
Yeah.
anything like that?
Well, two things in particular. A lot of times I hear the question, how can a pastor really ignite evangelism within the church?
Yeah, man.
And what I would say is remember these three things. I've heard this. It did not originate with me. But number one, be vocal. Always talk about evangelism. from the pulpit. Share about opportunities that your people shared the gospel, whether someone was saved or not saved. That encouraged the people to see that church is dedicated and committed to evangelism. No, so be vocal. Number one, be visual. Allow them to see that the pastor is going out actually doing evangelism. The staff is involved. Everyone is involved. Having all types of evangelism being done. And last, being viable. Door knocking, event evangelism, also encouraging people to share on their jobs. A lot of times people will come and say, well, I don't do door knocking. Okay, that's fine. What type of evangelism do you do? Okay. And we want to take that type of evangelism and have them do it. So that's one I would tell how the pastor to get involved. And number two, also in evangelism training, remember, we don't have to necessarily learn a canned approach. Be conversational in your evangelism methods. The biggest question that we can ask is why. So we go up to a door, we're talking to a person, and we say, hey, listen, myself, if I talk to someone, they always want to know what I do as a profession. I'm a professor at a seminary, a Southern Baptist seminary. And they say, oh yeah, I'm familiar with that seminary. Seems like you know a lot about the Southern Baptist. Do you go to a Southern Baptist church? No, I don't. I go to a Catholic church. Well, you know, I hear that a lot. Some of us grew up Catholic, some of us grew up Southern Baptist. Hey, I'm curious to know, what made you grow up, choose Catholic, right? Yeah. Or tell a person, hey, listen, I love to hear about your testimony, your salvation, how you got saved. And the person may say, I'm not saved. And then we can go from there. So it's that why question, I believe, or tell me more about that, what that looks like, helps us out in our evangelism.
It's important in evangelism to even listen
and
to hear what other people are saying.
As a matter of fact, initially we should be more listening than talking, right? We're not going to start talking pretty much until the end when we're ready to share the gospel. But we want that person to tell us more about themselves, more about their spiritual condition.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Well, guys, that's all we have for today. This is going to be a fairly quick episode because we got a lot of stuff we're doing here on the convention floor. But again, I want to say thank you to Carl for joining us today. And let me just tell you this. If you are looking for a seminary education, a theological education, you can pick no better place than Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary. Isn't that right, Carl?
That's right, man.
That's right.
Southwestern leads the way in doing evangelism. We've got the chair of fire, and we have a school set aside for it. So if you're interested in doing evangelism, this is the school to learn it from and to take classes with Dr. Bradford.
Let the dome be your home.
Amen to that. I like that.
I like it.
I like it.
Dome be your home.
I like it. All right, guys, you guys have a blessed one. We're going to come to you with some other videos here shortly, and y'all have a blessed day.